This is where it's at.
Hi, Trey.
Hello, sir.
You know, I don't really like summertime. I know that you do. Well, for the most part. Anybody that knows me knows that, yes, in fact, I do not like extreme heat. But the other reason is because of something we deal with quite a bit here in Texas. And I'm sure other parts of the world do as well. But that would be the mosquitoes.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with kids now, just, you know, they don't know why they're itching and they're uncomfortable. I think my wife attracts every mosquito that's out there. She'll have 30 bites on her leg and I've got none.
Well, I enjoy sitting out at your front door waiting for you to open the door, getting bit by mosquitoes.
Okay,
yeah.
well, you know, I've got a guy and he's supposed to have taken care of it for me, but I guess they're fighting through. But I found out something interesting about the mosquitoes that I wanted to share with you. Did you know that only the female mosquitoes are the ones that bite?
Makes sense.
Right. That's
It makes perfect sense now.
I started, as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, okay.
I get it now, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's only one time a month they do that or if they're just always biting. I mean, I kid because apparently the mosquitoes only live a week or so.
Really?
Really.
Well, that sucks.
And the whole point is to reproduce and to piss everybody off
So
even more.
Is that a bite or do they suck the blood out?
I think they suck the blood and then it just swells. So they say it's a bite, but it's actually like a little thing that goes in and sucks the blood, right?
Interesting.
So
These are females just sucking on you.
Yeah, it's a blood. The males don't need a blood meal. They call it a blood meal, right?
Okay.
The females need it to produce eggs.
Oh, okay.
The female's buzz is actually higher pitched. Did you know that?
I did not.
I can't
hear them
I can't
buzzing.
imagine going, that's a female.
Yeah.
That's buzzing. And the males, this kind of hit home too. The males are out on their own.
Makes sense.
Doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Except when mating. I mean, tell me that we have a lot in common with mosquitoes.
Interesting. So they're out like playing golf.
They're probably, doing their own thing, staying away. They don't want to do the household stuff.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway, I saw that. I thought it was interesting. I thought we could kind of give our female listeners a hard time.
Why are these mosquitoes sucking? Because they're women.
Did you notice that I don't have any orca updates tonight, but did you notice that the orca causing all the problems, she's female too?
Are female orcas.
What is going on? I mean, are they really that angry out there?
There is an uprising of the female in all species.
Waiting to hear some other random animal attack, a mountain lion in the woods on you and your bike or something.
Being a female mountain lion.
Yeah. Speaking of you and your life, I saw the funniest dating app picture that I wanted to share it with you and our listeners. And it's quick and but I couldn't pass it up. Talk about falsifying yourself and being an idiot in the process. This guy, and I'm going to throw him out there because it's out there. His name is Rashed.
Well, of course, yeah. It's got to be a Rashed.
Right, Rashed. It says Rashed. There's a picture and then your name and your age.
Age,
Rashed,
okay. Rashed.
comma, 23.
Got it.
And in the background of this picture is New York City
Okay.
with the Twin Towers
Wow.
in the background.
And he's 23.
And he's 23. So if you do some quick math, that would mean that he took that he was 2 years old and has a full beard.
Older than 23.
Right. Something. I think my math is right, but you get my point.
I get it.
And I just laughed. I said, this is a male version. So it's males, you try and be younger. Women, try and maybe be thinner.
Yeah.
Either way, just be yourself.
Put yourself out there.
Be yourself. Right? Own it.
Because you're going to meet them. I don't get it. It's like you're going to meet.
Yeah.
Your plan is to meet.
Did Rashid, right? Did Rashid think that when they met, he would look just like he did back in before 2001? Like
Right.
you said, at least that old.
Right.
I want to know what Rashid looks like now and what his other 5 pictures were. Was it like, the Berlin Wall before it came down?
I was thinking the same thing. The Berlin Wall. Wow.
Something else before.
We're thinking too much alike.
Before it came down. Or yeah.
Wow.
Anyway.
He's on the moon, taking the first steps on the moon. Yeah. Ridiculous.
The Challenger, or was it? I hate to make light of it, but the 86, the Challenger that exploded. It's there being built in the background.
He was there when Willie
was
Mays
there.
broke
Willie
the color barrier.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, Elvis hadn't passed yet.
Right. He took a picture with the actual Elvis. He's only 23.
23. Rashid, you poor guy, because this is now out there and he is done. Can you imagine?
That is pretty funny.
Running into Rashid, he's your date, and you go, oh my God, this is the Rashid.
Yeah.
But I wanted to mention
Feel like
that
an asshole at
because
that point.
he may have some issues dating
Wow.
coming up, but I thought that was pretty funny.
That is pretty funny. So I got a quick little funny story. I was talking to my mom.
You always have a quick little funny story. I like it.
Talking to Mama Trey, and I told her, I said, well, I'm going to tell this story on the show because she always seems to have some interesting thoughts, and I don't think she thinks about it before she says things. So
I'm okay with it because it's usually really sweet to
Yeah.
us. Like, you guys are the best.
Right. She was outside working in the yard, and obviously it's hot as shit here in Texas right
Yes,
now.
it is.
So I tell her, I said,
Over 100 today and yesterday.
I tell her mother, I said, please be careful being out in the yard
Yeah.
because she just gets out there and starts working and doesn't pay attention. She just likes being out in the yard. And I said, please be careful while you're out there. She said, you know what? Don't worry. I brought my phone out here with me just in case I passed out.
Nuh-uh. This really
I said, you brought your phone out with you just in case you passed out? She said, yeah. I said, Mother, how are you going to use your phone if you're passed out?
Mama Trey.
And she just started laughing.
She
didn't realize that. What she said.
I kind of get what she's meaning,
she's
which
going
is like
for.
if I am unable to maybe move, but am conscious, maybe.
So you're trying to do it before you pass out then,
Yeah.
not
Yes.
after you pass out.
Well, maybe you get the phone really quickly before anything major.
know.
I don't
She's
know.
a special-
I'm trying to help her
My-
out here, but I don't know if I can in this.
My ex-wife, and I don't know how to take this, but she said she was able to understand me more after she finally met my mother. So I don't know how to take that.
I'll take it as a positive, which means you're very sweet.
There we go.
There you go.
We'll say that.
That's pretty fun. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. My mom does stuff like that too, and
Yeah.
and I think that we've definitely got to get those two together.
Yes, that would be a fun show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I read a story today. You've been mentioning about the orca attacks and how things like that's been happening in the ocean lately. So I found this story kind of interesting and never heard of this before, but have you heard of a gar fish?
A gar fish.
Gar fish.
I've heard of a gar fish, and I don't think they're very nice looking.
They're in this particular picture is just kind of crazy.
You have a picture up? I'm going to pull a picture up right here with you. How about that?
I like it.
Oh my God.
So
Yeah, that's about what I thought. It almost looks like a little dinosaur. Like he's got a bunch of little teeth and
Kind of interesting, right?
a sword snout or something. Anyway,
so
a gar fish.
a gentleman by the name of Steve Kazik
Okay.
from Perth was one of 8
Perth, Australia.
Perth, Australia.
Okay.
Sure. Didn't say it on here, but I'll go with that.
I'm assuming
trust
look,
you.
any animal shit that happens that's crazy.
Gotta be
is usually
Australia.
Australia. Yeah.
Makes sense. So he's one of 8.
Not Nigeria. Not Nigeria. Where we're going to go.
Well, that's completely safe.
Yeah, puppy dogs and Go ahead.
Teddy bears.
Teddy bears.
So him and a group of surfers were off the coast of, and I'm going to just skip to, it's in West Indonesia.
Okay.
At the Playground Surf Resort. Okay. So he happened to be sitting on his board when something struck him in the face.
I'm going to go ahead and guess it's a gar fish.
Pretty interesting. He thought it was his friends throwing seaweed at him.
Oh, my God.
Until somebody finally noticed. He's kind of confused, and he was bleeding from his nose.
Why would seaweed do that?
Exactly.
Okay.
So come to find out, a garfish, you were correct, which it states here is a silver fish with a long beak-like mouth, had flung itself from the water.
Oh, my God.
And pierced Mr. Kazik through the cartilage of his upper nose.
Oh, my God.
There's a picture of here. It's absolutely disgusting.
Was it like the teeth of the garfish, or was it the actual snout?
It says it's a long beak. And there's pictures on here showing teeth-like.
Yeah, it's got to be the teeth, right?
But it said as soon as this fish hit him, its body snapped off, leaving the beak in his nose. So is that like
How fast was this fucking fish?
I have no idea.
My God.
And it says on here they're typically most active at night, which obviously that's bullshit.
Yeah, they weren't I want to see what he's doing at night.
Right.
If he's doing this during the day.
Because they can be startled by light and happen to jump out of the damn water. So
was this area known for garfish?
Well, see, and that's another thing that was kind of stupid here. Locals reported seeing garfish schools active during the day, days before this injury.
Ugh.
So
these aren't locals.
Why would these fucking resort allow them to go out and fucking join
Maybe they wanted to be entertained.
See what happens to these fuckers,
Yeah, look at these idiot Australians that are coming up to our territory.
Make sure we take pictures of these idiots that they get attacked by garfish.
Man, those things look nasty.
So the story is they basically got him on a speedboat, got him back to the resort, and realized there's not a hospital around. So luckily, one of the surfers happens to be a surgeon and basically stitched him up.
It sounds like a movie.
So it took him about an hour to get this thing stitched up. And
so the snout broke off of the fish.
Of the fish is what it says.
So what happened to the fish?
I guess it ended up in the water without a snout.
Does he still live without his nose?
I bet his friends make fun of him for that shit.
Yeah, that may impact his life. But, so this thing was stuck in his nose?
Stuck in his nose. It looks like it's a big, thick needle-looking thing. It's crazy looking.
God, it had to have been a tooth. It had to have been like a hook, a fish hook that goes through the mouth.
Crazy looking. So anyway,
that's.
We thought the orcas would fuck you up, but apparently the garfish will also
This
jack you up.
doesn't sound like an accident. This sounds like this garfish was basically almost like a suicide bomber.
Right.
He just said, I'm taking this guy out, and if it costs me my nose, my teeth, how is he supposed to eat?
So be it.
How is he supposed to eat? He's just supposed to go with his hole and just try and get stuff to swim in?
Maybe the mama garfish is going to chew it up for him and spit it in his mouth. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Little birdie.
Garfish procedures, but we'll see
what happens.
Well, anybody? I'll that's a good thing to post. I'll post that on our Facebook page, just the pictures of the garfish.
The garfish story.
Because just to see if you haven't, I know a lot of our Texas listeners where we're from are big outdoors people, and we'd be like, well, yeah.
Watch for the garfish.
Yeah, we've seen garfish. I mean, yes, this is across the world, but they know what garfish looks like.
In the lakes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we have any garfish here in Dallas?
Yeah, let's hope not.
Like, what pond are we? Pond at the golf course if we go and get our ball?
Right.
Anyway. But did you see there's something called an alligator gar? And that thing can get up over between 6 and 9 feet.
That sounds nasty.
If one of those guys hits you, you're done, right? I mean,
you would think that would take a nose off.
I wonder how big this one was.
It doesn't. That's interesting. Yeah. I don't understand why I didn't say.
If an 8-foot garfish nose came off, that's going to be like a baseball bat. That's not anything to mess with.
That's a big piece going through the nose.
All right, so beware of orcas and garfish, everybody.
Just for now.
And mosquitoes.
I'm sure we'll have more.
And female mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes.
Don't worry about the males.
They don't give a hit.
They
don't give a shit. They're just going to hang out
at the bar right now.
Idiots.
All right, well, let's get some closure with the whole Titan submarine issue and the Titanic exploration issue. I know it was the last couple weeks, and I know it was kind of took over the world, or at least it took over the United States.
Right.
And I actually don't know how the rest of the world reacted to it. I'm sure it was a news story in some areas. But I wanted to, I mean, you said you had just read something.
Yeah, it popped up today saying that the U.S. Coast Guard says presumed human remains have been found in wreckage of Titan sub that was recovered from 12,500 feet below the Atlantic surface after a catastrophic implosion killed Titanic.
Does it say what human remains or like what it was?
All it's saying is the remains will now be transported aboard a ship to a port in the U.S. where they will undergo testing and analysis.
So they're not giving us like total details yet.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, if that we find more out about that before the next show, we'll do in 2 days. We'll update you. But I tell you what. I mean, I also made a little bit of a mistake on the last show, telling you that. Again, I don't think this is a big deal because you understand what I meant, but the Navy were the ones that heard the implosion noises or the possible implosion on Sunday that the submarine went under.
Yeah.
They reported it to the Coast Guard, who then made the decision to keep the search.
Oh.
It wasn't the Navy that kept searching, it was the Coast Guard, which again, minor, but I just want to make sure that people know that I'm doing my best to give accurate information. And that I take it seriously, that the Navy was no longer responsible for the search party because they just reported the noise.
Well, thank you, Google.
That's right.
Good job.
But the one issue that kind of came out of this, and I knew something was going to come out of this that shouldn't come out of this. It should have been, this sucks. Well, maybe in the future we'll approach it differently. I feel bad for the 19-year-old that didn't want to go, and now he went, and he's dead. I don't like the fact that this little prick stepson, and in all fairness, maybe he's the innocent one, but is out celebrating while his stepdad's dead and all these things.
Yeah.
All that thing, move on. But here we go. Netflix has now added Titanic to their lineup.
Holy shit, are you serious?
As soon as this happened, apparently. And, of course, I chuckle at it in a sarcastic way and more of a, geez, Netflix, okay, I see what you're doing here, and I guarantee you it probably worked because people are going to...
Oh, no doubt. Yeah,
let me go,
watch Titanic.
Especially people that haven't maybe seen it or aren't as aware with the story overall. Somebody young maybe. And, of course, then you have the other people who are pissed. This is so wrong. This is whatever. These people died. This
kind of bad taste, yeah.
So I was going to ask. So the reason I brought it up was to say, what do you think initially by me telling you that Netflix has used this as an opportunity to bring back a film?
Seems like it's kind of bad taste.
Okay.
A little bit, but I'm not going to get butthurt on it.
Okay.
So
that's you and me.
I get a chuckle out of it.
We don't tend to get butthurt about things, but we get a chuckle.
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the other side. I'm like, okay, who cares? Like, it's a business decision, and
trying to bring eyes to it.
Yeah, maybe not that.
Yeah,
just money. I don't know. I don't know what side I'm on, but I just think it's interesting that everybody is freaking out.
I don't understand why you're freaking out. Yeah. I mean, I can understand maybe the families of the victims maybe having a little bit of a gripe, but other than that, who cares?
The 5 people that were down there.
Yeah.
Well, it's what's interesting to me is that everybody loves Netflix so much that I haven't heard anybody be like, we're boycotting Netflix. Right. It's just people are mad.
Canceling it.
Then nobody's canceling Netflix because, I mean, come on.
Well, they're not canceling because they're using their friend's account anyway. So
yeah, but there's too many shows. They got to finish the show
before
they cancel. It's a little different.
We'll wait until next season.
Going to a store or something where they can cancel, Target or whatever.
Right.
But that was that's interesting. So we'll put that to bed. If there's something else that comes out about the Titan catastrophe, we'll talk about it. But as of now, we're putting it to bed.
Yes.
Right? Okay. No more Titan from us.
Got it. Let me write that down real quick. Hold on. No poo-poo, no pee-pee, no Titan.
And no Titan submarine.
Got it.
They call it a submersive, which I think sounds cooler.
A submersive.
Yeah, I've seen that all over the place, and I think it sounds cooler. I'm going to go with that.
No more Titan submersive.
Yeah, there you go. No sub or submarine. Submersive.
Got it.
So how about this, everybody? And I'm not cheering this on, so again, don't come at me, call me names. We're not the only country, apparently, who has police issues.
Oh, yeah?
As far as shooting people. This would be in France.
France. The French are assholes.
And I read this, and I tell you what, I went through maybe 10 sources and all different types of sources, and I couldn't find
That's a lot of sources.
There was a lot of sources. I try and be efficient here on this show. I try to be not efficient. I try to be
factually accurate.
I try to be thorough on this show.
Yeah. And
the only thing I see is a picture of the automobile. I don't see the person that was shot. But it was a 17-year-old boy, and he was pulled over just for a basic traffic violation, which they haven't even released. And you see in the video or in the camera footage, you see the cop saying, "Stay here, don't, no, don't," and the guy tries to drive away. So as he's driving away, the cop shoots him or shoots through the car. What I want to know is apparently he was shot in the chest. How do you hit him in the chest from, like, if the car's driving away?
That is weird.
But anyway, it's not important. But the bottom line is this kid died. He had there are two other people in the car, and one of them ran. And you're sitting here going, okay, who is the kid? Why did
they run?
Why they run? Is it okay? Here we go again for an officer. And by the way, America, this is in France, so it's not just the United States having these issues. Was this cop, did he have an agenda? Was he adequately trained? I mean, you have all these questions.
How come this isn't all over the news?
I don't know. I heard about it today. I saw a couple of different sources, but it is all over the news, just not in the States. I guess they're worried about, the submarine or something.
Interesting.
But, any of the neutral sites, NPR, Reuters, BBC, of course, did a big thing because that's British and it's right there.
Yeah.
And so I want to know, people are going, well, why did the police officer not shoot out the tires? That seems to be, and again, we've had this discussion. When it's all happening in a split second and somebody's evading arrest and somebody runs and somebody does this and, for all he knew, maybe they had a weapon and they would turn and I'm not saying the cop was right in what he did. It sucks that this kid died. He didn't deserve to die. I don't know what he did, so maybe he did. Maybe he was this horrible, horrible child molester. I don't know. But what happened after that, Trey, was that night there were riots
in France
and burning down the city, the suburb that this is in, and 31 people were arrested. The guy's name is Nahel. And there's been speculation. By the way, in 1 year, there have been 13 people that died by police shooting.
Okay.
It's not just this country, people, and it's not police officers in general. There are issues, yes, but it's not just here. I just wanted to say that. And, of course, it's France.
I haven't heard of race in there either, so.
But that's what I was just getting to.
Oh, sorry.
But that's the point. So for once, I'm looking at this news story, Trey, and here in the United States, if it happens, it's like immediately. 3 of the sources on this side are all like, black guy shot, everybody, racist America.
Yeah.
And on the other side, it's like, it shouldn't matter the race. Well, I haven't found anything that describes this guy except his name and his family's name. And so people are saying, well, that's actually a Northern African name.
Okay.
Whether that, I don't know what country that would be. I mean,
so super white guy then.
Super white guy. Nahel sounds white. Or European.
Nigel or something,
Right, sure. And so the speculation is that the cop, let's just say there have been tensions between police officers and the Northern African immigrants.
Okay.
And especially in some of these suburban areas. And so people are, of course, speculating, okay, that was it. This officer had an agenda. He didn't like these guys, and as soon as he disobeyed him, boom, I'm going to shoot him.
He took the opportunity.
And if that's the case, and it's strictly that, and there's nothing else to it, then the officer needs to be punished.
I mean, what if he was trying to shoot the tires out and he's just a horrible shot?
Yeah, I mean, Trey, I guess that could it's a possibility.
You don't know?
I don't. You just we want to wait to see what happens. But I saw it and I said, you know what? And I wasn't excited because I'm never excited to see somebody shot and killed. But I was almost kind of happy in a way to be able to bring it on the show and say, everyone needs to calm down about the U.S. being so horrible when it comes to this. Everybody's got issues. We need to be aware of our police officers, but that does not mean that we need to disrespect authorities as a whole. Well, that's just my thought.
I'm still curious to know why they ran. So,
well, that's the other thing. I mean, why would you run? Is there maybe there's something else that they did that they were scared that they were going to, accused of or charged with, or what if there was weapons, or what if they did something else, or who knows? And I think all that might come out, hopefully. But again, it's just this notion of, was there something that could have been done to prevent the police officer from shooting the kid? And that becomes that's where it gets tough, because you got both sides going. You know, that guy, the police officer, how dare he? And then the other side's like, well, it was justified probably because that Northern African kid, he probably did a bunch of stuff. And in reality, it's somewhere in the middle where it's like, oh, could there be better training? Or so anyway.
I'm curious how, if they're driving away, how they got shot in the chest. I can't wait to see how that comes out, because that's interesting.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Works.
And apparently on the camera, you hear somebody screaming, "He's going to shoot you in the head. He's going to shoot you in the head." And I don't know if that was the one of the passengers, maybe one of his friends, but on the video, that's what you hear, somebody screaming. And again, the lack of detail in these news stories, because it just happened. I think it was technically at nighttime, but for us, it was the daytime.
Right.
Today.
So maybe they're trying to keep it very hush-hush.
I don't know. I mean, there's just no detail. But then you watch the video and you hear somebody go, "He's going to shoot you in the head." Okay, well, no, it ended up hitting him in the chest.
Yeah.
The head would make sense. The chest doesn't. And so I don't know. It's that
is weird.
Let's just say
to see how that comes out.
But let's just say the riots and things. Is that really what's that gonna do?
I don't get it.
And I mean, I'm looking at pictures of buildings burning, cars burning, overturned. People were fighting and beating whatever, and it's just kind of like.
So destroying the city that you live in, right, helps bring justice when there is injustice,
right? Especially when there's anything, especially when there's nothing that's actually been detailed out, and so. Does it change things? And what if half these people that were rioting, all of a sudden something comes out and they're like, "Oh, I take it back."
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to set that building on fire, and our town.
Let
has
me help
to rebuild.
you build it back.
Yeah. So
idiots.
But I just wanted to bring that up. A French shooting, not in the United States. Anybody that wants to sit here and what some of our European listeners stereotypes about the United States gun issues.
Yep.
And
gun wielding assholes.
Yeah. So. Guess what?
Not so much.
Not just here. It's everywhere. And I'm not just saying I'm not saying that that's a reason for us to ignore it, but that's just a reason for us to look at you and go, "Hey, guess what? It's not just us. We're the sexy target, if you will. People like to look at.
We are the
Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Anyway, no more friends.
As stupid Americans, one of our stereotypes is we're not aware of other cultures around the world, right?
That was one of the stereotypes. Yes.
So, a ritual popped up.
A ritual, like a witch's,
that happens in Nicaragua. It's 400 years old. And before I tell you what this fun ritual is, I thought I'd pull up some other rituals from around the world.
So you're going to tease with some rituals before you get to the main ritual.
Yes.
Oh. Interesting.
So, number one is the Hajj, which is an Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca.
How do you spell that? H-A-J?
H-A-J-J. H-A-J-J.
In Texas, that's Hajj. Hajj.
So, the Hajj is an annual Islamic pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia.
Fair enough.
That's enough of that one. Chinese New Year. So, which is also known as the Spring Festival, is most important traditional holiday in China and is celebrated by Chinese communities worldwide. It marks the beginning of the lunar calendar year and involves various rituals and customs, such as family gatherings, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Day of the Dead.
Okay. I've heard of the Day of the Dead.
Yes. It's a Mexican holiday celebrated on November 1st and 2nd, time to honor and remember deceased loved ones.
That sounds way more, that doesn't sound as, the description isn't as cool as the name.
No? It said
No,
families create altars at home, which that could be kind of...
Yeah, that's okay.
Or in cemeteries adorned with photographs, favorite foods. So if you're hanging out at the cemetery with a buffet, I don't know how that works. But they also visit graves, participate in processions.
Oh, so you go to a cemetery and they've got like a whole spread.
Yeah. Oh. So that's
kind of cool.
That could be interesting. Next one, coming of age ceremonies, which let me see if I can scroll down real quick. These are rituals practiced in various cultures worldwide to mark transition from childhood to adulthood. Okay, so this is kind of more of a talking about the quinceañera, bar mitzvah.
Bar mitzvahs, all those, yeah.
Forgive me if I mispronounce this. A seijin no hai in Japan.
I think that was perfect.
You like that?
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready for our Japanese trip.
Absolutely.
Hey, is it necessary to have these events? I mean, isn't this just a celebration of getting your pubic hair?
Makes sense, yeah. Getting a little hair on your arm.
Right?
So.
I mean, because it's usually when you're about, isn't it like 13, 14, 15?
Yeah.
Okay. All you're doing is celebrate. You're not a man or a woman yet. You're just kind of starting.
Yeah.
Is that what this, okay.
That's kind of what that one's about.
Fair enough. Just making sure.
So here's the ritual that I was able to pull up in Nicaragua. So every year.
We love our Nicaraguan listeners.
And so it says every year in Nicaragua, dozens take part in a bizarre ritual which sees them whip each other.
What?
Whip each other.
You can just stop. Go ahead.
Oh, you want to know what they whip each other with? Yeah. So they whip each other with dried bull penises.
No way. This is not real.
Lashing their opponents until they concede. All in the name.
Is like a fight, like a battle.
It's all in the name of the town's patron saint.
What? You say bull?
Bull penises. Dried bull penises. And they've got some videos on here.
But are all bull penises the same size?
The guys that are fighting on here, I guess it depends.
What I'm saying is that what if you are unlucky and your bull, he was a grower, not a shower?
Yeah. You want to find you would find a darker skin bull.
You would find, yeah. You just walk around checking your bull. You just stay over.
This one was an African bull. I want that one.
Yeah, there you go. You go. That's
so whether to atone.
Should you and I do this ritual outside in the front yard and film it for the show? Would my neighbors have a problem, or would they line up with popcorn?
I'm just picturing your wife saying, "What?"
Excuse me, babe. Trey and I are about to go outside and whip each other with bull penises. Trey got the African bull, so I'm probably not coming back for a little while. I might need to go to the hospital.
And then after seeing your oldest running around with his cape on, I can just imagine him running around cheering us on with his cape.
He is into superheroes now, Trey. So you got the brunt of that when you walked in tonight.
I did. Yeah. They attacked.
He attacked you. You were the bad guy. Or you're the villain. He knows the word
always
villain.
a villain.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So anyway, back to my Nicaragua story.
Yeah, sorry.
These gentlemen...
Bull penises get me off topic.
Yeah. So the reason behind this ritual is to atone for their sins or for a taste of adrenaline. So the 4 centuries old religious tradition is known as the dance of the Chinegros. So it says that men, children, and some women
okay,
perform this ritual.
But that's what I'm saying. So which women do and do not? I mean, do you choose this, or is this like something that people say you have to do this?
I don't know. I don't know if that's a volunteer thing.
That's a good. I volunteered to go battle with bull penis.
It says these things are capable of tearing a person's skin on contact.
Oh my God!
With fighters sustaining cuts and
especially if they're the new hip bulls with the piercings.
Yeah,
that might do some damage. But
this bull had a Prince Albert. I'm using that one.
I got this guy. This one.
Shit.
I got this guy. This is mine.
Yeah. He was African, and he has a Prince Albert.
So this is Nicaragua, and this is the only place this happened?
Yes. It says this violent dance is believed to have been performed in the town, which is of indigenous origin since 1585.
Wow. So that's a long time, Trey.
That's a long time. I don't know how many months that is, but that's a lot of
Would
months.
you be willing to go add Nicaragua to our world tour to see this?
I don't know.
And would they make us do it?
I'm looking at some of these pictures, and I don't know if we would be too welcome here to watch a bull penis whipping. So
they would. It seems like maybe that's not a ritual that they care to spread. This isn't. They don't want the hype. They just do it,
and it might be frowned upon if we're sitting there rooting for this as they're just whipping the shit out of each other.
This is supposed to be a something that you don't cheer on.
I don't know. I mean, these guys look pretty excited about it. I'm surprised. I wonder if they're betting on it. But I mean, if two white guys show up in Nicaragua to watch them
what
beat
if we
each other,
showed up and tried to play bookie and took bets?
That would be awesome.
And all of a sudden, this ritual from how many years all of a sudden turns to this whole backyard underground battle scene where people are losing their life savings
because of their bull penis whipping. So yeah. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Now, I think the question that everybody wants to know at this point, Trey, is where do they get the bull penises from?
That's a great question.
Do
you go to the local store called Dick's?
Oh no!
See what I did there?
I don't know if Nicaragua has a Dick's.
Do you shop online at
store.
Dicks.com? I don't know.
Maybe Dicks.com. But I guess what I'm saying is there like a field of bulls, and all of a sudden they just eliminate all of them at once and then chop their penises off?
Ooh.
Or is this something where they collect, a bull dies and they go ahead and okay, we're going to take
this will be a good one to fight with.
Does the bull have a license that says he's a donor?
A bull penis donor?
Yeah, he's a bull penis donor for this ritual.
Can you imagine getting turned down to be a bull penis donor?
They look and they're like, oh no, he's a no. He's a no.
We need some distance in this fight.
And the guy's like, oh man, he's got a great weapon right there. We can't use it.
We need some distance to whip it with. We can't have a close encounter battle anyway. So
that's interesting, dude. I mean, yeah. I wonder. I bet there's a ton of other rituals that are crazy like this.
I can imagine.
Yeah. I think
we're trying to learn as
we're trying to be open to other
as
cultures.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the Nicaraguans appreciated the way we handled this tonight.
Absolutely. The bull penis whipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should look up other ones for future shows. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I'm very intrigued by rituals.
We have to. I'm assuming there's got to be a vagina whipping, somewhere.
Well, from what animal?
Dried
sheep or something.
Sheep vagina.
But let's do that. I like this. This was a good one.
Find some more rituals that we can partake in.
Yeah, because look, a lot of these areas in the Central and South American countries that had old kind of not tribal. What's the word I'm looking for? Not native.
You have a master's in writing, not me.
Yeah, I'm trying my best. The people in Central and South America are like the Mayans and the Aztecs and the Incas and all that. The
Santa Marias,
and the native and the tribal. You know what I'm saying. And so it's all those people.
I just enjoy you trying to.
How about indigenous?
There we go.
Indigenous.
The
indigenous people of these territories, they all had crazy stuff, and crazy to us, not crazy to them, which we need to respect, right, Trey? Especially if we're going to be invited down for some of these rituals.
Is this is south? Nicaragua?
This is south. Nicaragua is south of here.
South of here?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe it's Central America.
Okay.
which means it's just south of Mexico.
So is it cold? I hate cold weather.
It may get chilly at night.
Chilly.
Along the equator usually gets chilly.
Does it get chilly in Chile?
Actually, yes.
Yes?
Because there's a mountain range there, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So that dumb joke actually worked.
Actually worked out?
Worked out. Anyway, rituals. I love it. Okay. I'm gonna talk about this real quick. This is, to me, it's kind of boring, but I want to make sure that our listeners understand that we are up with the times in our country politically.
Gotcha.
Right? Have you heard of the court case Moore versus Harper?
I have not. I can't even act like I have.
And I wouldn't want you to. In fact, I hadn't either. And when they do these court cases and they do the names, you're supposed to memorize them all, and it's like, how do you mix them all up? And so this one just happened, and it became this huge deal, and a lot of people on one side, on the left side, if you will, the Democrat / liberal / lefties side,
Gotcha.
viewed this outcome as a win for them and for democracy and all that. But I wonder why they make it about them versus just, okay, this is what's best for the country. You see what I'm saying? It becomes this polarizing issue when it just should be, okay, great, that we agree with the outcome. And then it becomes ha 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 right wingers and ha 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 whatever. And again, I'm not one or the other. I'm just saying I'm just not liking that shtick from them.
Right.
But anyway, so what this was is there's it was about what's called the independent state legislature theory.
Dumb that down for me, please.
Okay. It's really simple. And
Use it in the
I'm
sentence.
going to dumb it down because, anybody that wants our show to talk about this in great detail hasn't been listening to us very much.
They don't get it.
We like to give you the basics. And
Yeah.
the basic on this is about voting laws.
Okay, voting.
In this country has become an issue, right? One side says, okay, the election was stolen. The other side says, no way, this can happen, and this is totally legal, and mail-in ballots, and this, and there's a whole big thing about voting.
Gotcha.
And democracy and all these things. Well, what this does is the proposal, and I believe it was from North Carolina Republicans, said, hey, why don't you Supreme Court, give all the states the ability to have their own rules, own processes, own regulations on how to do voting for both Congress and the presidential election. And so what they're saying is, instead of one big rule on the federal level, it can be monitored easier state by state. And that if, say for example, Arizona was one of the states that had all sorts of debate and whether or not there was legitimacy in the voting process. Say all of a sudden Arizona says, well, we're going to implement this, and this to make sure that there isn't voter fraud. And Nevada and every other state around, they have no say in their process because it's not Arizona. They're giving Arizona the right to say, hey, we're going to run this the way we want, and it'll make things more accurate. And so...
And I guess to what extent? Like, are there certain guidelines that's going to stay the same across the board? Or is it like, you know what? If you've got 3 toes, you are not allowed to vote.
Right.
The state.
Well, my understanding is
Nevada.
my understanding was that if that had passed, then that probably could technically do that if they wanted to.
Gotcha.
And I think that's what, they had an issue with the Bush versus Gore thing in 2000. They had an issue now with the Donald and Biden thing. And so the idea was, well, we're going to be able to monitor it better if it's just states. Okay, if Arizona says, you over here, federal government, you have nothing to do with our voting process, we'll let you know. We'll let you know what the results are.
So is it more geared towards the counting of the votes, the process of getting the number of votes, I guess?
I think it's a combination of a bunch of things. I think one of them is the process of the counting.
So not so much as a person or as a citizen, you have to meet these guidelines and able to vote. I think
that's part of it too.
That's part of it too. Okay.
From what I'm reading, it's everything. And
so top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
You make your own guidelines.
There are a bunch of states right now, and I'll again, call me whatever you want, but I'm going to go ahead and say there are a bunch of states that don't require voters to show proof of residence and proof of citizenship almost.
Why wouldn't they do that?
Because I don't know if it's a lazy thing. I don't know if it's too hard to, whatever. All you have to do is give them an address and you can vote. And that's true. And people come at me and tell me I'm wrong. I guarantee you I'm not. There are states that do not require you to show proof of residence. You can just give them an address and your name. They'll have it on the file and whatever. And that file doesn't actually tell you whether there's a legitimate citizenship. Anyway, so
see, that's crazy. You can't even get internet without getting a background check.
That's crazy to me too, and that's why a lot of these people are saying, "Okay, we need this to be a little bit more, a little stronger, a little bit more secure.
Rein it in a little bit.
Rein it in, and because." Whatever side you're on, you shouldn't be okay with somebody that's not a citizen of this country voting in our elections. You just shouldn't. And it really honestly does benefit one side versus the other. It does. And so I think that's why one side versus the other wants less this and more that and vice versa. And that's where something was brought up. And I just thought, I want to ask Trey, who's all-knowing, full of wisdom, if he thinks the state should be in charge of this when it comes to, like you said, checking on the criteria to vote, counting, submitting it, or should it be one big centralized thing? And I don't know if there's the right answer.
Yeah.
I just think that this was an interesting case that the Supreme Court shot down. And the Supreme Court is majority Republican. And this was a Republican thing, and they just said nope. And so, maybe that has something to do with it, or maybe it doesn't.
I don't know how in 2023 we don't have the capability to count votes.
There you go.
Without issue right now.
There you go. So I don't know. I brought this up because I thought that it's something that had happened recently, and it's something that in our country, it's just another issue that's divided. It's something that you're, like you just said, you dumbed it down in a good way and basically said, are we really having this issue? Yeah. And it's because of the integrity and the trustworthiness of the people in charge of counting and the people in charge of whoever's voting. You can't just scan an ID anymore because some of these states are giving IDs to undocumented citizens. And so you're going, okay, if you do this and you limit quote unquote illegal immigrants from voting, which look, you should. I don't care what side you're on. You should. Bottom line, I will fight you to the end on that, and it doesn't have anything to do with bipartisan politics.
Well, and when it comes to these polling stations, correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't these mostly just volunteers, or do they have people with professional careers that are taught how to do this, how to process this, how to...
Well, they're definitely not professional careers.
So maybe that's one thing they have to do.
True.
Is you know what? We're going to train these people.
It's supposed to be nowadays. Now, back in the day, I don't know. They probably had people that were putting doing a little circle like on our SATs and on the standardized testing. Yeah. But now it's electronic. And so when you do that and it prints it out and you put it in yourself, they make you put it in, and it supposedly it registers everything that you voted for. How do we know that that's happening? How do we know that somebody doesn't fudge the numbers that, I know some people that are really, really intelligent when it comes to computers. In fact, we the same guy that we give a hard time to.
Yeah.
I probably can tell me exactly if somebody could or couldn't skew those results when it comes to the digital part of it. But the bottom line is that these people, like you said, they're just volunteer. They're in there. Who's trustworthy and who's not?
Right.
Government officials come in. Well, if the government officials are hired by the current administration, not this current, but whoever it is at the time, and they come in there, aren't they going to skew it towards them, or wouldn't they be tempted to say, oh, whatever? And that was the rumor, was that there were the problem in the last election was there were a lot of mail-in ballots because of COVID.
Okay.
And so the mail-in ballots, people on the right believed it was very easy to be skewed, the numbers, because they were actual mail-in, physical. So people that received these could easily just be like, oh, oops, and they toss them out. There apparently were pictures that were taken of people throwing them in dumpsters and things like that. And of course, the other side's going, well, that's photoshopped and that's bullshit. And it was very, very strange. And like a lot of things from 2020 to 2020 about 2022.
Yeah.
And still to this day, but COVID really kind of
jack some things up.
And so that, in my opinion, that finally caused this, which was a proposal to make it about states, and maybe kind of trying to regulate it a little bit more.
So what you're saying is everything was fine with the voting process up until a historic pandemic that made us go back to the prehistoric ages.
Right. I don't think everything was fine with voting. There was still, again, the Bush-Gore thing in 2000 in Florida. There have been other issues, but I think that COVID really kind of allowed both sides to yell at each other about potential voter fraud.
Put a spotlight on it.
But the point is it's all stupid right now. I mean, I've bitched about Twitter the last couple shows, and I get on there and I say something about one topic. And all of a sudden, somebody assumes they know everything about me, and that I'm this and that and this side, and I vote this way, and I'm like, that's not even it. I'm just talking about this one issue, dumbass. And it's been real eye opening ever since I've really kind of jumped in on Twitter.
Yeah.
So if you see us out there on Twitter, come to my aid and say, this guy really does like to try and see things from both angles or all angles.
Or you can say him and he really is an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, either way. I mean, it'll help the conversation either way.
Right.
So that's all I wanted to say about Moore versus Harper.
I appreciate that.
His states, and I still don't think we really gave our opinions. You said you don't give a shit.
I say it's going to be
either way.
There's going to be people bitching about it either way.
And I kind of tend to agree. I think that if it stays, which it is, it's not going to the states. It was already decided. And now what's going to happen is if whatever either side. So let's say let's just go with the big one, presidential election next year, November 2024. Whoever quote unquote wins, the other side's going to go the fraud. It's bullshit.
Well, I can't understand how we don't have a group of intelligent people that can figure out a process that everybody can agree with to count some damn votes. So.
We have intelligent people. The problem is they're on both sides, and nobody in the middle can sit there and get any power, in my opinion. Nobody has the power that is truly neutral to say, this is how we're going to do it, and everybody on each side needs to stay out of it. And that's the issue. And even if somebody says that, are they truly neutral, or are they really? Do they have an agenda? I mean, like I said, people are accusing me of having an agenda, and no, I don't have any agenda.
Well, and I know, as you know, I know shit about politics,
right.
But I'm wondering if there's too many checks and balances through the whole process to get things done.
What about not actual checks and balances, but what they claim to be checks and balances?
There you go.
Which is really almost an overkill,
right?
Because they're the other side of things.
There you go.
Yeah, and that's what's happening. You're absolutely right.
What if we decided at one point, you know what, we're gonna elect one Democrat and one Republican to run the country together?
That would be awesome.
Is that far-fetched?
Well, it's far-fetched because I don't know how it's going to happen.
I don't think anything would get done.
I think that the closest that we could get to something like that would be getting somebody to run for president, and once they get the nomination, say Trump gets the nomination for the one side, or because right now Biden's the incumbent, so he's there with Kamala Harris. And I don't know if they can change that up. Like, can Biden be like, no, fuck Kamala, I'm getting somebody else?
Right.
I don't know if that works because they're already in there. But anyway, let's just, for the sake of this conversation, say that Donald Trump gets the nomination again, and he has to choose a vice president with him. And what if he takes a gentleman who's come out of the blue on the Democrat side, named how about Robert Kennedy Jr. Robert Kennedy, right? I don't want to sound like an idiot. I'll apologize next show if it's wrong. Robert Kennedy Jr. And he is a Democrat who has come out with some stuff where it's like kind of similar to where we go, which is I'm not going to sit here and just be a Democrat for every issue because that's what they're telling me to do.
Right.
I believe this, this, and this, and some of the Democrats are going, "Oh shit, dude, what's wrong with you?" And the Republicans are going, "Hey, this guy's not all bad. Like if he gets it, okay, maybe we'll be okay."
Interesting.
And so, what if Donald goes and gets this guy and says, "Hey, come over to this side. Fuck red versus blue. Who cares? Be a part of this with me, and we can be."
Let's change some.
We can be the two most neutral guys because Donald was a blue guy. Donald was Democrat growing up. He wasn't a Republican. He ran Republican because politically that made more sense to him. But how about that, Trey? That's the way to do it. Stay in the Gray podcast has just come up with the idea.
We figured it out.
On how to get two different sides to unite and truly be gray.
You're welcome.
Truly, you're welcome. Wouldn't that be great if tomorrow, or Donald gets in, he's like, "I am going to go with Robert Kennedy."
That would be crazy.
We have it documented right here. And,
yeah.
And boom. So, but honestly, I think that's probably the easiest way to do it, to get the two sides to combine.
Right.
I don't know how else you do it because from a voter perspective, no one wants to vote independent. That's why you get like 3% voting independent every time. And those are the people that are just basically throwing a vote away.
And maybe it's an ego thing, but you have the Democrat and the Republican that are going head to head for the presidency. Well, whoever loses becomes the vice president.
Oh, you're saying? Oh, well.
Is that a little too simplistic?
I don't, because you spend so much time just bashing the shit out of each other.
Yeah, that's another thing. Why can't they talk about just the issues? It's like, you know what? You know, I want to say Mr. President or Mr. whoever the hell we're talking to in this debate. Tell us about your global warming policy.
Right.
So, okay, well, first off, this guy's an asshole. He hires whores and sniffs cocaine off their butts.
And then he's like,
every
"Shut
weekend.
up, asshole," and then back and forth.
Yeah. And then they go off on some tangent about some other issue. So it's like, why can't we just stay on the
You
issues?
know how they give them like 30 seconds to respond to an answer,
And all of it's bashing.
and 20 of it's like yelling over each other, and then the moderator's like, guys, everyone, no, calm down. And it's like, all right, 30 seconds is up.
Right.
Nothing got said.
And that's my thoughts on that. You know,
I'm not going to lie to you, Trey. From an entertainment perspective, I hope that happens on every debate because it is hilarious.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that would, in this day and age, I think in a more mature, maybe down the road,
maybe
this could happen. And maybe they say, "Hey, look, all right." But the problem is that the president and the vice president aren't supposed to have that much of a different power level. The vice president, yes, of course, answers the president, but he's there for other purposes. It's not as much it's not like an assistant.
Gotcha.
He's not his assistant. He kind of, vice president handles this over here and the president handles this. And so they need to be kind of like-minded, in my opinion.
So the vice president's going to libraries reading books.
Yes.
The president is out
Playing golf.
Playing golf. Makes sense.
And that goes for both Barack Obama and Donald Trump. So don't come at me. I called both of those motherfuckers out.
They enjoy playing some golf.
And Trey and I do too. If we ran on the Layfield-Nielsen or Nielsen-Layfield, whatever ticket, guess what? Trey and I are going to play some golf.
We are going to play a lot of golf.
You know, in this world,
we'll have Air Force One.
This country would be, dude. This country would be way better if you and I were.
Might actually hit the Mile High Club at that point if we have our own presidential airplane.
Yeah. Do you want to take a trip with me, babe?
Right.
Here's my plane over here.
We're about to
Air Force One.
Yeah, Air Force One, baby.
Can you imagine the party? We could throw some parties and just.
You think they would frown upon us putting a stripper pole in there?
I think as long as we removed it before the next president came in, I think we'd be okay.
Why you wouldn't do that?
Well, who knows? It depends on who the president is.
Yeah. Could be another Clinton, you know? Get their freak on.
But it just seems to me like if Donald, or let's just say maybe Ron DeSantis or some other Republican, was to grab a guy like Kennedy, or even somebody like maybe the lovely woman Tulsi Gabbard, who was a Democrat and got frustrated with some of their extremism and came over and kind of said, she's not Republican, she just said, I'm not Democrat. And I'm bashing them because I just can't believe that my party turned to this.
Interesting.
Grab an old Democrat like that, and maybe she pulls in some of the other people who are kind of like-minded, going, "Hey, I'm not real happy with my party either, but I'm also don't want to. I'm not on the other side." So there are ways, in my opinion, dude, to like bring it all together.
Gotcha.
Will it ever happen? Who has the balls? Does Donald or Ron or whoever gets the nomination have the balls to say, I'm going to bring in kind of a liberal vice president? Donald didn't do it last time with Mike Pence. Mike Pence is the most weirdly conservative guy I've ever seen. I mean, he wouldn't go to dinner with a woman without his wife.
Wouldn't go to dinner with a woman without his wife.
Because it was disrespectful to his marriage.
Interesting.
Even business dinner. So,
did he not have sex with the woman unless his wife was there either?
Maybe that was it. Maybe he said,
seems like that type of
right.
Get his freak on.
What a but behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think Donald made a mistake last time. He went super the other way. He went super for his party, and versus saying, hey, let's reel in some of these independents and some of these light lefties who are disappointed with their party. Anyway, I don't know. I mean,
and he had dinner with women without his wife too?
I think Donald may have had dinner with other women in the past. I'm not sure. But, he does have a beautiful wife in his life.
Yeah.
Melania Trump. And, boy, that poor woman having to deal with everything, and and their son, Barron, who, by the way, is like 6'6" or something crazy.
How old is Trump?
How old is Donald Trump? Donald Trump, I believe, is 77.
And he's got a 6-year-old son?
No. His son is Barron is 6'6".
Oh, 6 foot.
Yeah, he's like 15 or 16
okay.
now, 17 maybe. He's like high school.
Gotcha.
And when Donald Trump was elected, he was like 11.
Gotcha.
And now he's growing up.
I'll start paying attention to the show as we're.
He's 6, and
I was like, he's 6?
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's look at Trey and I talking politics. We got off a little bit on the topic, but we talk politics for what, in my opinion, the majority of the country wants to talk politics about.
Yeah.
We don't need any details.
I just want to know why the gas is so damn expensive.
There you go.
Yeah.
And it's so easy, no matter who is president, no matter what's going on, to just blame whoever's president. Gas prices, fuck that guy.
I saw a bumper sticker the other day that said, if you voted for Biden, follow me to the gas station because you're paying. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's
how he stands.
Okay, take it easy, everybody.
I shouldn't say he. It could have been a she. I don't know.
That is pretty funny. So there's our political talk, everybody.
You're welcome.
Yeah. In case you didn't know how you were going to vote or the process or any of that, here we go.
Now you do.
In fact, look, Donald, if you'd like to come on our show and plead your case, we are here for you.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Or Joe Biden, come on, we'll talk.
We got pudding here for you.
We'll talk.
Sorry.
And for Donald, we have women.
Yes.
Well, any president,
polls.
Yeah, any president, we can both welcome you in and piss you off at the same time.
We're here for that.
Right. Anyway, moving on.
So I ran across a little article. It kind of caught my interest, talking about facts that show we have officially entered the Twilight Zone.
Ooh, I like it.
So that was kind of interesting to me.
Yeah. Well, I liked the Twilight Zone. Did you ever watch that?
I did.
Yeah.
Although the music freaked me out. So
yeah, it was a little. I mean, it was weird.
It was intense.
It was weird.
So the very first story I don't know if this is really a story or a comment or a thought, but it says, according to some scientists, the human who is going to live 200 years has already been born, they believe.
What?
Yeah. Said, how cool is that? Said, according to scientists from Stanford University, the person who will live 200 years has already been born. Although it might sound crazy, it is expected that at some point there will be enough advancements in medical technology and genetics that will likely help to further prolong the human lifespan, way past the life expectancy we are familiar with today. Incredible.
Wow. Well, I'm assuming that it's probably like somebody that's pretty young.
I would assume.
It's not our old asses, right? Now, does that mean we make it to like 150?
It's possible.
Because it makes me both excited and sad because I'm like, oh man, did we just miss the cut?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
are we out at 80 or whatever, and then all of a sudden the next generation,
If we would have been 79.
Yeah, we would have been,
they would have hit.
Oh man, but
Son of a.
But that's cool. That means now I don't know how true it's going to be, but
I guess we'll find out, won't we?
my ears are open. My eyes and ears are open.
I don't know how. I mean, like my body hurts right now at 44.
Right.
I can't even imagine at 200.
Yeah.
I'd be like, kill me now.
Is it even? Yeah. This sounded great back 120 years ago.
Yeah. Take me now. So
Well,
yeah, that
that's
was interesting.
Yeah, I like that one.
The next one it popped up, the longest traffic jam. As we know, we love traffic jams. Longest traffic jam in history lasted 12 days and stretched for 62 miles in China.
Of course.
On the National Highway 110.
Well, there's 68 billion people in China.
Right. And this was in August of 2010.
Okay.
So things got so bad.
2003. Okay. That's 13 years ago.
13 years ago.
Got it.
So things got so bad that people stuck in traffic developed a mini economy of overpriced food, water, and cigarettes.
Yes. That's awesome. It's like they just shackled in for a vacation for like 12 days. All right. Here we got margaritas over here. We got smokes over
Can
here.
you believe that?
Well, imagine though, if you were a smoker and you only had like half a pack left,
I'd be pissed.
and then all of a sudden you're stuck for 12 days. I mean, this is
God.
an actual physical addiction.
Yeah.
And somebody else is going, oh, hey, I got some smokes over here.
Yeah.
That'll be $5,700 for this pack. And I mean, you could do that. I bet that was.
I wonder
insane.
how much it was.
Yeah.
How much the money was.
I seriously wonder how much like one cigarette was.
So it says in the story, what was the reason behind this chaos?
Yeah,
and
thank you. I wanna
they're
know.
saying it was a combination of road construction, maintenance work, and increased freight traffic due to an increase in coal deliveries to Beijing.
But how did 12 days?
12 freaking days.
But if it wasn't completely blocked, they're saying it was completely blocked. And how did nobody know?
It says, additionally, unusual heavy rain caused some sections of the road to become impassable, exacerbating the traffic congestion. These big words kill me.
I got you. I think
you get me?
everybody understood that.
Traffic jam was so severe that some drivers reported only traveling 0.6 miles in a day. So that sounds absolutely.
The guy we always talk about and we did a ski trip and we vacationed. It was one other gentleman with us, and we went. I'm talking like when we were like 19 or 20, and we stopped on the way back because of winter weather. We drove all the way to Colorado. For those that aren't in our country, since we have so many worldwide listeners, it's about like an 18-hour type drive, and so you would go. We would rotate and drive all the way through. And so on the way back, winter weather, ironically, in New Mexico near West Texas, shut down the highway overnight. And so we, of course, just, being young, we were like, okay, cool. Let's just kind of, look, there's a McDonald's over there. Let's just walk over there. We'll leave our car with the hazards on. Like, everybody was doing that. And it was like one big party for a night.
Interesting.
But that was weather, and it made sense. And okay, you sleep in your car, and in the morning when they can thaw it out and the sun's out and it's easier and the weather, the temperature gets higher.
Yeah.
Everybody goes. One night. But 12 nights because of construction. and other mean, and in a country like China, which probably it was polluted and you couldn't see shit, and it was, doesn't sound as appealing.
Now let's go back to your one night.
Oh yeah, let's talk.
How did y'all stay warm?
We were in the car. We were in the van. There was a van.
There was a van. Did it have a waterbed in the back? One of those type of vans.
It did not have a waterbed. We actually, I don't know why. Why did we have? There were sleeping bags. I don't know why.
Sleeping bags.
Yeah, there were sleeping bags.
Oh, somebody came prepared.
Yeah, somebody was prepared for this. It was fun. It was one of those nights where you come clean about a lot of things. You talk. You get to know each other very well.
You come clean about what happens in the van, or does that stay in the van?
For some reason, I don't remember anything that happened in the van.
Yeah,
at all. I don't know about the other two gentlemen who were there.
Yeah,
you'll have to ask those guys. But for me, it was all blacked out.
Done.
So.
Okay.
But anyway, so China, that's crazy. 12 days. The 12 days. Is that the record you said?
The record. 12 days,
12 days,
61 miles, 62 miles. I forgot what I said now.
Oh, my God.
So the next one, this one kind of hit home for me. So loneliness has become a problem in Japan.
Oh, you're not lonely, are you?
Such a problem that the country has developed anti-loneliness cafes.
In Japan?
In Japan.
Isn't Tokyo the biggest city in the world?
You tell me. I haven't Googled it.
I think so. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Japan, lonely.
Lonely. So they came up with these anti-loneliness cafes where a giant sitting stuffed animal is brought to the table as your dining companion if you're there by yourself.
Hold on. This can't be real.
This is real.
Okay, hold on. A stuffed dining companion.
Stuffed dining companion. So
like what?
A big stuffed animal to sit there across from you.
Do you get to choose the animal?
I mean, would you rather sit alone or
I'm good. You know what?
I don't need the stuffed animal.
I have now rethought some things about my life, and I'm good.
Or just say that they're on their way. They're on their way.
Right. Can you imagine in a restaurant full of just single table with stuffed animals on the other side?
Can you imagine trying to hit on a hot chick and she looks at this big ass stuffed animal sitting across from you?
What kind of stuffed animals though? Are they all bears?
This one looks like a white, puffy, almost like a hippo with a top hat on it.
Well, duh. Hippos are the cool ones.
Got to have the top hat.
It's in the name, hip.
Yeah, it says people are so lonely in Japan that the country has developed this anti-loneliness technology industry, especially targeting the elderly. So devices such as robotic pets, virtual reality socializing, and mobile apps that facilitate human connections. Can you believe that? A mobile app to facilitate human connections, especially for the elderly. These motherfuckers they're not using technology. So It's like, how does that app going to work for them? They're going to have to call their grandson to tell him, what button do I push? I just turned my damn phone off. But anyways, it's becoming more increasingly popular in Asian countries with the market for elderly care products. And this is pretty interesting. And services expected to reach $100 billion US by 2025.
Jesus. Okay. Well, wow.
And
good information.
So, yeah. So if you see me with a stuffed animal, you know why now.
I don't look. Japan. Everybody knows right now that Japan, for the last I don't know however many years, 10 to 20 years since I've been aware of it, it could have been longer, has the most, the highest suicide rate.
Damn.
And I don't know why. I don't know if
probably because they're having to eat with stuffed animals. What the fuck?
But I thought that might be the stuffed animals might be newer. It might be a way to combat depression. That maybe if you had a stuffed animal with you, that
I wouldn't have killed myself.
How are you? Yeah.
So the last one I'll touch on, and this is because this will kind of go into our growing business. As our listeners know, we will come and pull the plug for a family member for you. That way you don't have to live with that guilt.
That's right. We do that.
So
yeah. Stay in the gray, plug pulling services.
Plug pulling, yes.
Or assisted suicide services.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a story here that says after an owner with a metallic prosthetic passes away, the limbs are often recycled.
I'm not laughing, but I am.
You're laughing
Wait, So
me.
they have to be metallic prosthetics. Okay.
So that means
not the rubber.
Once we pull that plug, we will go ahead and pull off any prosthetics.
That's right.
And take it with us to help recycle those.
Look, we do it all at this Day in the Gray.
One-stop shop.
One-stop shop. Just
Can you imagine pulling it at what we think is a prosthetic and pull the person right out of the bed? You know?
Yeah. No, it was the family's like, it was his other arm.
Oh, whoops.
Like we were just aligning him the right way.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Stay in the gray. Give him a card.
Stay in the gray, yeah.
So it says on here that in the U.S., prosthetic limbs are typically not reused after someone dies, but they in fact donated to various organizations that provide refurbished prosthetics to people in need. Prosthetics are other times melted, and the metal is used to build all sorts of devices, such as planes or even turbines.
So you're telling me, Trey, hold the phone. This is taking me to a whole new level here.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that if I had a metallic prosthetic arm,
yeah,
and I passed away, unfortunately,
I probably pulled that plug.
Something heroic, and Stay in the Gray came in. You did your service, and you moved on. You offered a card to my mom, and a sticker.
A Stay in the Gray card, yeah.
A sticker, and maybe a T-shirt. I mean, you like my mom.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, you're saying my arm could be used in a plane.
An airplane.
That was built, that traveled all over the world.
All over the world. That's kind of cool now that you...
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to highlight this because this is not necessarily a bad thing. If you have a metallic prosthetic limb and you die, don't fret. You live on.
Or you could end up on a fat homeless man underneath the overpass who pees on it daily.
Yeah.
It could go either way.
Well, you brought
50-50 shot.
Brought me down a bit, but
yeah,
50-50. But those aren't bad odds.
So plane.
But I imagine there are plenty of other things that metallic arms can be and legs can be made into.
So your prosthetic arm could go to a homeless man who uses it to masturbate on a daily basis. Too.
I mean, look, they need relief as well.
Yes.
In my opinion, I think that's very noble. So,
I'll save some more for the next show. But I thought that was there's a ton on here, but I thought that was a couple.
No, these are great. These are great. I think that the world is better for knowing some of these things.
You're welcome.
And and that's what we're trying to do here. So we'll keep going with that.
Sweet.
Real fast. Our being aware of self-awareness segment tonight. Do you have one?
I do.
You do? Okay, good.
I actually didn't have one until today.
Oh.
But I got pretty frustrated because at some point, I don't know when, yield signs became stop signs.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
And we were going in one of those roundabouts, and this lady literally stopped. There's no cars coming around this damn roundabout. Why are we stopping? As you know, it's hot as hell here. I don't want to sit in my car longer than I have to. But yeah, she decided to go ahead and stop as opposed to yielding as we waited for basically a written invitation for her to go. So yeah, I've actually been in a car accident because of somebody yielding to get on a damn highway. And I remember we were leaving.
Oh, God.
And I remember calling you afterwards asking you, hey, did you see me as you passed by?
Oh, that was that one.
And
yes, I remember.
You were like, yeah, I was thinking, what are these assholes doing?
I think I sped right by you. I'm like yelling at everybody.
These idiots.
They got in the wreck, and that was you.
So yeah, as we were, two cars were coming off the ramp to enter the highway on the far right-hand lane, and for whatever reason, the car in front slowed down, and came to a complete stop on the highway. So yeah, that was fun. So yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, with the highway, with the getting on the highway thing is just something. To me, it's unbelievable. If anyone doesn't understand how to enter a highway and how to merge, and I'll give a little bit, maybe 80-20 to the fact that the people in the right lane coming up on these people, you need to understand you're in the right lane. Let the people merge.
Right.
Like, don't be a dick.
Right.
And there are plenty of dicks, but the bottom line is you can't stop on the entrance,
Right.
like what you're saying, and it's just it happens, and all of a sudden you get 10 cars that are stopped, and then in order to get going fast again, the right lane, and everybody's going. It's just it becomes chaos, and that's how wrecks happen. That's how there becomes traffic jams and things like that. So
yield does not mean stop.
does not mean stop and merge onto the highway on the entrance ramp.
Keep driving, damn it.
Yeah.
Somebody will let your ass in.
Yeah. And even if the car on the right that's coming up on you has to slow down and they give you a mean look, that's still better than the
traffic jam or an accident.
Exactly. So I think that was a quick self-awareness segment tonight.
Quick, fast.
Look, bottom line, yield is yield. Stop is stop.
Yeah.
Getting on the entrance ramp.
They're not the one and the same.
They're not one and the same. Getting on the entrance ramp to a highway is about merging.
Yes.
Not stopping. So,
and I never understood those people that will slow down as they're trying to get over into a lane.
Oh, yeah.
Don't slow down. Just keep fucking
Well, the ones
driving.
that make me mad, and I've talked about the left lane many times.
Yeah.
The ones in the left lane where they finally realize, all right, this guy's like 2 feet behind me, which is me.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to get over and let him by. And they get over, and then they speed up.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yep.
So you just want to prove to me that you can go that fast?
Right.
Or like, oh, I'm sorry, but this is what I meant to do?
I put the phone down, and now I'm going to drive? Asshole.
And I'm trying to go by him, and I'm just like, okay, really?
Dickheads.
So have you noticed that a lot of our self-awareness segments have been about driving?
Yes. That's where the most idiots are.
Yeah, well, for sure. Anyway, we gave you guys plenty tonight, and I think we're just going to call it.
I think that's what I'd said on the last date I was on.
Bye, guys. We love you.
Later. I'm sitting here, Ryan, wondering if my penis would be big enough for one of those rituals.